God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be moved, though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof, Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen rage and the kingdoms were moved utterly. His voice, the earth melted. The earth horse is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge, Selah. Come and behold the works of the I Am, what desolations he hath made in the earth. Psalms. He maketh wars to cease unto the ends of the earth. He breaketh the bow, he cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariots in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The I Am of hosts is with us, and the God of Jacob is our refuge, Selah. Psalms, should I say again, chapter 46. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. A prayer of Abram. Jubilees, chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes. Yes, again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Mr. Clay. You're walking with Mr. Clay. And we thank God for you, and you. Yes, yes, yes. And we also thank the Most High for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about, and those of you that have just subscribed. And we thank God for those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we give God the glory for this day. This is the day that the Most High have made. We cleave to the Old Testament. We shun the New, although it has things that the truths of the Old Testament in their way. Very intricate work of deception. Very intricate. I mean, you talking about truth and lies together, but nevertheless, God is merciful. When we mention the sure mercies of David, see, this is a mistranslation. The sure mercies of David it really should read the sure mercies the Most High had upon David. Even the sure mercies that were upon David. In other words, David has no mercy. In other words, this is trying to sway you into this New Testament Esau's God thing. This is all this is. Your Yahushua God thing, or your Usha, whatever you want to call him. Your Yahushua, Yahuwah, or whatever. Messianicy only means 1 cent. That's all that means. Really, it's nothing. There are many that were sent. There were Messianicies to the children of Jacob. And also we have another thing, is that poverty. You notice in Deuteronomy chapter 28, you go down to the part about the poverty. See, you have to realize this thing is the jealousy of the Most High in the hearts of the heathen. They want to keep you poor. And so therefore, in other words, God have hidden you among the heathen, the Africans and the Shemites and different people. You're hidden. You're even hidden among the Indians. You're hidden among many of the brown and darker skinned people. Some of you are mixed, but who's your father? That's the thing we're going to get to. But either way, God wants you to realize that because of your continual following of the way of your ancestors, Your continual wanting to be like the heathens, wants to dress, wants your wig, wants you to lighten your skin, wants you to do all these other heathen. God confuses you until you be destroyed. One by one by one by one. God's just going to confuse you. He's going to draw you away until you're destroyed. Because you did just like this one king. You do things according to your own understanding, your own intention, your own motives, without even paying or even looking at the commandments, statutes, acts, and attributes of the Most High. I mean, just pleasing Him. He tells about Himself. Who is He? You want to know who is God? Read the laws, statutes, commandments, laws, and ordinances of the Most High. You want to understand Him? Read and understand the laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the law. Of the law, the laws of the Most High. Yes, read that. You will understand them. You don't need all the stuff that they try to put at you. That's history. Okay, and then history is only good as the one who is the victor. And then you have to sort of put it together. See, he's not going to go too far from the truth, because he knows that the fact is that it's going to be too far-fetched. And just like you look in the book of Luke, you're going to find out that Mary, how can she be even in? See, it's where the matriarchy came in at. Mary is really a made-up, fictitious person. She has been with the matriarchy. She first they say that they give her a genealogy, a false genealogy. Then they say she's of the women, or should I say the daughters of Aaron, which is Levitical priesthood. So she's supposed to be a Levitical, a woman that is of Levite descent. So you ask yourself, which is it? Is this what made the Esau's priest and king and all of this? Because she was married to David, he's king. Because she was of a Levitical priesthood, he's a priest. And then you got, she came down through David. But then it stops. If you read through the genealogies and the chronicles, you're going to find out it stops. And the rest of it is falsehood. But the fact is, this is why I shun the New Testament. It's null and void as far as it's, whatever you could attribute to it, it's false. Other than that, what comes out of the Old Testament that God says, all the way from Matthew to Revelation. False. False. It doesn't make any sense, period. Not spiritual sense, biblical sense, no sense. It's just your mind been so repetitiously embedded, and God has to free you from that into this thing that you cannot understand it. But nevertheless, we're in the book of 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel chapter, should I say 17? Yeah, 17. 2 Samuel and 17. Well, if I skip the chapter, we got the picture. Either way. But either way, we understand that according to the word of the Most High, you're going to find the same word in the book of Kings and Chronicles also. Right now we're looking at we're still really technically in the book of Judges. Because Saul was a judge who sinned. David is a judge who sinned, but God had much mercy upon David. He really disappointed the Most High in that he not only brought reproach in the spirit world and physical world upon the Most High because of David's failure to understand and know him, and to understand what was going on within his mind and heart at the time that he saw this poor man's wife who could not resist the king. So he summoned her and commanded her to lay with him. She couldn't resist. She said, "You just did it. Just did it. That's all. Because he is the king." She probably feared for her life. It's just as when Amnon took his own sister, she knew that they would look toward him and his word as being a potential king of Israel, that he would lie on her. She did not fight him, but she sort of a little bit resisted, but he still would not relent. And so this is sort of how God viewed what David did. See, this is all from that event right there. A man who was devout in his, not only his faithfulness to the king, but his faithfulness and his devotion to God, a child of the Most High, one who was of strangers but joined himself to Israel, even the God of Israel, him and his wife. So you cannot deny anyone from joining the wealth of Israel, but they still have to come through Israel. Doesn't mean you take advantage of them because they're not, should I say, genealogy or their lineage is not of Israel, but they are Israel. See, this is where they come from when they get into talking about a spiritual Israel and all this and all that. Get out of here, please. You're talking a bunch of nonsense. See, this is where you have to come out of the matrix. Take the red pill. Get out of it. But either way, let's continue. 2 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 1. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will raise and pursue David this night. And I will come upon him while he is weary and weak-handed, and will make him afraid, and all the people that are with him shall flee, and I will smite the king only. In other words, they were weary and stuff because of the travel. See, David really didn't have no place to rest his head because he knew Absalom was right on his tail. Verse 3. And I will bring back all the people unto thee. The man whom thou seekest is as if all returned, so all the people shall be in peace. Doesn't he remind you one of these, I believe, the sword and the stone, something like that. The king who was exiled from his country. This is where they got it from. The fictitious story of King Arthur. Come on now. They have no history of that, such things happening. God had given them a mind that they would want to steal other people's history and make it their own. Look at the wording here as I read. Note the wording. Note the movies and stuff and the places where they take you in your mind and get you to really picturing a bunch of white Caucasians doing this thing. Even you had one guy, Wonderful World Tomorrow, where he believes that his people were the chosen people of the Most High. Satan, really, this evil spirit that was sent from the Most High to deceive the nations, have really done a very good job. It's evil to us because it contradicts everything about our history and everything. It's evil to all those of a dark hue, from the Australian, the African, and all that. It's evil. There is no justification as to these lies that come across the media and all these things. All you can do is just be relentless in your historical, should I say, media, and just be relentless. Just they as they were and are relentless in their lies. Yes, you're gonna have to be that way. And their biggest thing is to keep you poor. Because the day, just like in the days of old and Reconstruction, where black cities have come up and black cities were thriving, everyone that came up have thrived, and they got jealous and they destroyed them along with the people. And now we sort of hesitant to even come up that way. Well, our education we get is for them. Everything we do is for them, not for ourselves. We're cheated and we're unequally, should I say, judged. It tells you something. Can there really be one nation under God in the United States? Or there really more than one nation under God in the United States? Even the world. Because the two cannot live together. not by historical means. Regardless, you can marry, you can do all this stuff, but you cannot treat each other equally. You cannot. It has not happened and will not happen. But let me complete this. He says now, and I will bring back all the people with thee, the man in verse 3. And verse 4, he says, the saying pleased Absalom well and the elders of Israel. Now they all were against David. See, God had fixed their hearts. You see how God fixed their heart toward David? And how that their hearts were turned, even the spirit. God is greater than men's hearts. He can sway men to hate you. Send the spirit to hate you. Send the spirit to love you. To give you all popularity. God can do these things. He can send spirits to love you to the point where you draw men backwards, that God to test their ways. This is why we must pray the prayer of Abram and think soberly every day. And then said Absalom, call now Hushai the Archite. Also let us hear likewise what he saith. And when Hushai came to Absalom, Absalom spake unto him, saying, Ahithophel has spoken after this manner. Shall we do after this saying? If not, speak thou. And Hushai said to Absalom, the counsel of Ahithophel have given is not good at this time. For said Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men, and they be chafed in their minds, as a bear robbed of their cub. You know, where they battle-hardened men. You're talking about Abishai and all the men that are with him that have been fighting with David ever since his youth. And have trained other men to fight just as they do. And thy father is a man of war and will not lodge with the people. God has been with David ever since the lion and the bear. Come on here. So who are we to even call ourselves going up against David? He just wants you to chase him around and make him think about what he did. Did he do that no more? And behold, but his heart was still with women. We shall read about that later. Was to so many women. Too many. And his son, a story for another chapter. And he hid now some in pit. He is hid now in some pit, he says, or in some other place, and it will come to pass when some of them be overthrown at first, and whosoever heareth will say, there is a slaughter among the people that follow Absalom. And he also is valiant, whose heart is as the heart of a lion, and shall utterly melt, for all Israel knoweth that thy father is a mighty man, and they which be with him are valiant men. Well-trained men. Therefore I counsel that all the men be generally gathered unto thee from Dan even to Beersheba as the sand of the sea that is by the sea for multitude, and that thou go to battle in thine own person. So shall we come upon him. See, they are paying two sides here now. You gotta be careful here. We'll find out. So shall we come upon him in some place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew falleth on the ground. And some of him, and of him all the men that are with him shall not be left so much as one. You got a problem there, brother. Now whatever, if he be gotten into a city, then shall all the Israel bring ropes to that city, and we will draw it into the river until it be not one small stone found there. Now you have to realize they used what they call lime as mortar back then. The lime pits. Yes, that's how they put stone upon stone. They used lime. Lime was their mortar. And lime lasts a long time. It would hold it together, but it's not as strong as what we have now today. The cement mortar as we have. Now, so shall we come upon him in a place he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew that falleth on the ground. Of him and all the men that are with him shall not be left so such much as one. Verse 13. Moreover, if he be gotten into a city, then shall all Israel bring ropes into that city. Let's go on to verse 14. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, the counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel, for the I am hath appointed to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel, to the intent that the I am might bring evil upon Absalom. What was the counsel of Ahithophel? We can go back. He says, choose 12,000 men in the first verse, and I will arise and pursue after David this night. Okay, then we go back and we see that was his counsel. And then we go back and we said the counsel of Hushai. What did Hushai say? Hushai, he said they want to come up to a place where he shall be found, and we will light upon him as the dew fall upon the ground. And let us continue. Verse 16. Now therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, lodge not this night in the plains of the wilderness. Who says this? And Ahithophel, he's playing two things. Now he sends a man and says, go and tell David now, don't lodge night in the plains of the wilderness, but speedily pass over, lest the king be swallowed up and all the people that are with him. Now Jonathan and Amahaz stayed in Rogel, for they might not be seen to come into the city. And a wench went and told them, and they went and told the king. You see, what is a wench? A woman. That would be a woman. See, all of this is mind siege to get you to picture, not only with your ancient TV ways and your little pictures of your Messiah and all this other stuff, to get you to picture that there's no way these people can be black. But there's no way, by the way, if you really look at what they're saying, they could be Caucasian. Period. Just notice it. They know what they're doing now. These people are very cunning because the Satans are cunning. Now therefore, nevertheless, a lad saw them and told Absalom, but they went both of them away quickly and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in its courts, whither they went down. And the woman took and spread the covering over the well's mouth, and spread the ground corn thereon, and the thing was not known. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house, they said, where is Amahaz and Jonathan? And the woman said unto them, they be gone over to the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass that after they were departed, that they came up out of the well and went and told King David, and said unto David, arise, pass quickly over the water, for Ahithophel hath counsel against you. And David rose and all the people that were with him, and they passed over the Jordan, and by the morning light there lacked not one of them that were not gone over Jordan. They were planning a coup. See, Absalom wanted to play. He was planning a coup. That's what he was doing. He had already took on over the kingdom and he won the elderly council and all these people whose heart was swayed by evil spirits. Now, when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled an ass and arose and got him to his house and to the city, and put his household in order. In other words, made sure everybody got what they needed and hanged himself. Told him what he wanted after his demise, and died and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. And when David came to Mahanaim, Absalom passed over Jordan, and he and all the men of David with him. And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab. And Amasa was a man's son, which was a man's son whose name was Ithra, an Israelite, that went in to Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, the sister of Uriah, Joab's mother. Now she was another doctor. That wasn't the wife of David. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass when David was come to Mahanaim that Shobi, the son of Nahash of Rabbah, of the children of Ammon, and Machir, the son of Amiel, Lodibar, and Barzillai, and the Gileadite of Roglim, brought beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and flour and parched corn and beans and little and parched pulse. Beans. Nothing bad. Oh, beans are good, yeah. And honey and butter and sheep and kine for David and the people that were with him to eat, for they said the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. You see that this was something that was the mercy of the Most High, the sure mercy of David, the sure mercies God had upon David is what that scripture should have read. Even the sure mercies God had upon David. See, there's a lot of mistranslations in the Bible. This is one of the mercies God had. He could have allowed Absalom, he could have allowed Ahithophel, he could have allowed all these people to subdue David and his household. But that was not God's plan. Although God have already been accused and put down by men and spirits, you have to realize God is a king, not only in this world, but in the world that He created first. Although you're a creator, there's still the thoughts and the hearts and minds of those that are created. And now we have the fact that God had mercy upon David. Although he brought shame upon, it's not God's shame, but because God chose him and said, this is a man after mine own heart. In other words, he will do what I commanded Moses. But he failed the test that happened when he was in Jebus, looking down in Jerusalem. Jebus is Jerusalem. That's in Tel Aviv. You've still been duped. You see all those things up in that area. Yeah, you got some, but you go down to Tel Aviv, you go down to and also it tells you another thing about that when Abraham looked over from Tel Aviv and he saw the smoke that ascended from Sodom. You can go by the Dead Sea, toward the west, the southwest, the Dead Sea, the end of the Dead Sea, and you'll see the sulfur and all those things, whereas they would tell you the top. See, they're going to stick with their lies. I'm going to tell you this now. They're going to stick with lies, but we have people God have pushed forth to show those who are really searching and will not accept just what they say. I said it because of who I am, and that settles it, and you better believe it. No, we ain't got to settle for that, because we are chosen of the Most High, because what? He is revealing truth to us, regardless whether you Israelite, son of Jacob, or whatever tribe you is, or the tribe of Israel, whether you white, black, Arab, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Or the mixed people, or Reds, clients, whatever you want to call it. Whether you're Zimbabwean or Hamite, Shemite, it doesn't matter. If God called you, God called you. Yes. To be a part of those who would obey and follow His commandments, laws, statutes, and ordinances. Yes. And with that, we're going to say, peace.
Walk with me.